Chapter 23 of The Adventures of Peter Cottontail. This is a Librivox recording. All Librivox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit librivox.org. Recording by Ty Abdul Olawanli, San Miguel, El Salvador. The Adventures of Peter Cottontail by Thornton W. Burgess. Chapter 23. Peter Rabbit has a bright idea. Peter Rabbit had a bright idea. At least Peter thought it was, and he chuckled over it a great deal. The more he thought about it, the better it seemed. What was it? Why, to follow the plan of Johnny Chuck and Grandfather Frog to avoid the cold, stormy weather by sleeping all winter. Yes, sir, that was Peter Rabbit's bright idea. If Johnny Chuck can sleep and sleep the whole long stormy winter through, it ought to be, it seems to me, the very thing for me to do. Peter Rabbit said this to himself as he sat in the middle of the old briar patch, chewing the end of a straw. If Johnny Chuck could do it, of course he could do it. All he would have to do would be to find a snug, warm house which nobody else was using, fix himself a comfortable bed, curl up, and go to sleep. Peter tried to picture himself sleeping away while the snow lay deep all over the Green Meadows, and the Smiling Pool could smile no more because the ice, the hard black ice, would not let it. Finally, Peter could sit still no longer. He just had to tell someone about his bright idea, and well, he wasn't quite sure of just the way to go to sleep and sleep so long. For never in his life had Peter Rabbit slept more than a very, very short time without waking to see that no danger was near. "I'll just run up and see Unc Billy Possum," said Peter. Unc Billy Possum was sitting in his doorway in his big hollow tree in the Green Forest when Peter Rabbit came hurrying up. Lippity, lippity, lip. Peter hardly waited to say good morning before he began to tell Unc Billy all about his bright idea. Unc Billy listened gravely, although there was a twinkle in his eye. "The first thing you must do is find a warm place to sleep, Bear Rabbit," said Unc Billy. "Oh, that's easy enough," said Peter. "And then you must get fat, Brer Rabbit," continued Unc Billy. "What's that?" exclaimed Peter Rabbit, looking very much puzzled. "I say you must get fat," repeated Unc Billy, slapping his own fat sides. "For what?" asked Peter. "To keep you warm while you sleep," replied Unc Billy. "Must I get very fat?" Peter asked. "Yes, sir, you must get very fat indeed," said Unc Billy, and smiled, for it was hard to think of Peter Rabbit as very fat. How can I get fat?" asked Peter, and looked up just a bit worried. "By eating, and eating, and eating, and in between times sitting still," replied Unc Billy Possum. "That's easy. At least the eating is," said Peter, who, you know, thinks a great deal of his stomach. "Is that all, Unc Billy?" "That's about all, excepting you mustn't have anything on your mind when you trying to go to sleep, Brer Rabbit. You mustn't get to worrying for fear Reddy Fox gonna find you while you sleep," said Unc Billy, and grinned when Peter happened to turn his head. Peter thanked Unc Billy and hurried back to the old briar patch to think over all that Unc Billy had told him. "I certainly will try it," said Peter. End of chapter 23.